will tell you, my phone is set. That's not my wife, my daughter, my mother, and my ex-wife in case something happened to my daughter. They're the only people that my phone will ring for. Oh my gosh, it's an emergency. I have a boundary that says from 7 o'clock till 9 in the morning, my phone does not beep if it's not one of those 4 people messaging me, because I put up a boundary that says I'm going to be present where I am at those times. I'm going to be focused on starting my day right, not being interrupted. Okay.
Before we jump into today's conversation, I want to ask you something. Have you ever looked around your life and realized everything seemed to fall apart at the exact same time? Your business, your health, your relationships. Today's guest lived exactly that. He was fired, his engagement collapsed, and he was broke enough to have to dig through his car for change just to buy food. And then his closest friends staged an intervention that changed everything. And that's just the beginning. Look, later in this episode, he shares why he believes balance is a lie, while self-care is actually boundaries and the one calendar system that separates busy entrepreneurs from elite performers. Look, honestly, the story about the list he wrote that accidentally led him to meeting his future wife is worth staying to the very end. If you're building success, but don't want to lose yourself or the people you love in the process, you're absolutely going to love this one. And before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can be notified every week, because we're bringing you conversations designed to help you stop winning on paper while losing everywhere else. All right, let's get into it. What's up, friends? It's Matt back again with the podcast. Welcome back to the No Regrets Blueprint podcast. Today's exciting. We're gonna have a lot of fun, and honestly, I'm a little nervous because I never know exactly what's gonna come out of our guest's mouth. And yet, I want to introduce you to one of the OGs in my life, Chad Hyams, known as the voice of reason. And if I had to say anything about Chad, he is absolutely a no fluff, cut to the chase, maximization coach, feedback giver, whether you like it or not, regardless of how you feel about it. Also happens to be a best-selling author, speaker who's lived through the full spectrum of the human experience. In his own words, he's battled relationships, failure, divorce, lost, rebuilt finances from scratch, fought his own battle with weight and fitness and health, and has come through the other side winning and with a thriving marriage. Obviously, you can see a healthy body and a mission to help others maximize every facet of their lives. He's also author of Achieve Your Apex. There may be a case study in there on a certain page that you may recognize, and has a mission. The Achieve Your Apex, how to maximize your strengths, create predictable results, and thrive in every facet of your life. Also host of the Achieve Your Apex podcast and a co-host of one of my favorite podcasts to listen to, the Win, Make, Give podcast, part of the Ben Kinney Training Network. And this just goes. Certified Spartan coach. What else? Runs a baseball school in Florida, or has. Works as a stagehand on Caribbean cruise ships. Legally blowing things up in Vegas.
Yes, sir.
Guys, you guys are in for it. Here's the fun part. In the intake form, which I said to everybody, it says, "Tell me a little bit about yourself." Chad's response, "You know me."
There you go.
Is a response. And so that doesn't help anybody listening. So for everyone who doesn't know you and is about to get to know you, who is Chad Hyams?
You just laid it out, Matt.
That's the Chat GPT bio version of who it is. But yet at the end of the day, who the hell are you, man?
Who am I? I am a guy who wants the best from everybody that I know. And I'm going to do my best to get it out of you, kicking, screaming, pushing, running, shouting, whatever it might be. That's me. I'm a loyal person. So once you're in my world, you'll always be in my world. I will take care of getting you wherever it is you need to go. I am a dad. I am a husband. I am a son. I'm just an all-around guy, right? I'm a movie lover, things like that. You said enough in all the Chat GPT stuff that came up.
So for those who may be listening to the podcast for the first time, this is the place for entrepreneurs and top performers who are tired of winning on paper and losing everywhere else. So we're going to get right into it. This is the conversation that is rarely had and yet needs to be had most often. So we're going to just jump into first things first. Chad, you mentioned, and I've heard parts of your story, and I'd love to get a little bit deeper into this part. So you listed hitting rock bottom in everything. as one of your turning points. So let's go there for a minute. What did rock bottom actually look like for you, and how did it show up for you across all three areas: business, health, relationships at the same time?
Got me fired from a job. The only time I've ever been fired from a job. It had me in the end of an engagement I never should have been in, kicking, screaming, fighting, clawing. There's a whole story in there. It had me financially scrounging through my car for coins to be able to afford the drive through at Wendy's. And it had me weighing 200. I'm only 5'10". So that's a lot of weight to have on my frame. And a whole reset was needed in life, Matt. A whole reset. That's rock bottom for me.
So anyone who's listening that's done any of this work, right, understands that everything happens gradually then suddenly,
Yes.
right? And so what was it that you didn't see that was, looking back, were the flags and the signals and the warning signs that were just hitting you in the face over and over and over again, and you're like, "I don't see it, I don't feel it, let's," what was it looking back that you were ignoring, that you go, "Man, never again."
When I look back, I see that the people that mattered most to me yelling and screaming at the side of the road, stop, stop, the bridge is out, the bridge is out, and me just pushing the pedal down faster and saying, they don't know what they're talking about. I saw me allowing my values to be discarded. So loyalty, which was key to me, was being tested by people that were in my life that were pulling me away from the people I should have been and always have been loyal to, and since have returned to the loyalty. I saw values of honesty being questioned because I was lying and covering up things and doing things I would normally never do because those were being tested. Saw every one of my values being challenged, yet I refused to see it, believing that I deserved what I was getting and was where I was supposed to be, which I was because it taught me so much to move forward and become who I became. Yet I stayed way longer than I should have, thinking it's where I belong.
So, like, I have a very specific date where I can point and say, "This was the day that I chose to change it." What was that moment for you like, and what got you there to say, "All right, enough's enough"?
It was October 9th, 2010. Might have been October 10th. I think it's October 9th. Uh, I guess it might be October 8th. One of my best friends was getting married, and he was in California, and I was his best man. And I drove to his wedding with this person who was in my life at that time. And my best friends, like the guys who I would call brother. There was a group of six of us from high school that are still together to this day. They wanted to get together, just the guys, for an hour. And the person I was with said, you're not going to just leave me in this hotel room for an hour to go be with the people who are the most important people to you in your life. I'm too selfish, too demanding, to whatever it is to allow that. So I lied anyway and went. And my friends had an intervention awaiting me. And that's the day that I said, I'm going to change everything. They stood behind me, gave me the confidence that I didn't have at the time, which is very rare for Chad Hyams not to have confidence. They gave me the confidence I could borrow from them to start fixing everything. And from there on, it took uh 6 weeks for a major transformation. I had to prepare for the end of the relationship. So it took 6 weeks longer than it should have, because it should have just ended right then. It took 6 weeks. Then it took another 8 weeks to rebound the wrong way, right? You pull an elastic back, Matt, even if that's negative. When you let go, it doesn't just go back to where it should have been, it goes beyond where it should have been. So I almost went negative the other way, right? All of a sudden, this freedom, this change in my world, all this stuff. I became too obsessed with my health. I became too obsessed with other things. That got me into a little trouble going back that way too far, if that makes sense. And then it probably would be, the date would be March 12th, 2010, when I went on the first date with Nita, now my wife, because she returned me to a place of value in my life, and she matched my values to her values, and from then on, it was a complete transformation.
Yeah. You're, like, looking at my notes here because that's a very nice
I'm
place.
not.
I want that's where
I'm not, right?
that's where I'm going, right? So, like, you and I, our relationship goes back about 15 years, and, you've had the
We're
pleasure
pre-X days, Matt. We're Twitter people.
we're on Twitter, we were tweet it was the tweet that started it all.
That's right.
And so I've had the privilege of having, kind of a front row seat and seeing that part of your journey as well. I wanna talk about Nita because you
My favorite subject.
you became a very different version of
Mhm.
you at that time. So
Yep.
what was it about the relationship with you and Nita that changed that trajectory for you? More importantly, what did she see in you or reflect back to you that you weren't seeing in yourself yet?
I'll tell you the story. I talk about it in Achieve Your Apex. When I was leaving Las Vegas, that's where I was when I hit rock bottom. I always say I left, not the same way Nicolas Cage left Las Vegas, but I was leaving Las Vegas in a different way. I couldn't even afford to leave, Matt. I did not have the money to take my stuff, get in my car, and leave Las Vegas for an opportunity that Ben Kinney had presented to me. And I went to my old boss, Terry Brinkus. I will always credit Terry for so much growth in my life and then for having my back at one of the most important times. And she paid for my move to leave. She didn't want to see me go, yet she paid for my move to leave on the condition that I had created for her a missing persons report of the right partner for me. Who would that be? What would that person look like? And I don't have it. I wish I did. I created a list of approximately 50 things that described who I believed the perfect person for me to be. All the way from I wanted someone that was between like 5'3" and 5'5". I think that's a perfect height for me at 5'10". They can wear their heels. They're still a little shorter. They fit right here in the arm for the hug, right? I love that. I wanted someone who loved to sing when nobody was listening. And oh my gosh, she's probably singing in the other room right now because there's music playing. I wanted a non smoker. I wanted someone who didn't have children yet would be a great role model because I had a 9-year-old daughter at the time. I wanted someone who loved animals and would want pets at some. I had some. So I had a list of 50 things that described her, from some things I can share publicly to some things I can't. And right, some things that were physical and some things that were loyalty mattered, all those things, whatever it was. The first time I met Nita was when I was being interviewed by Ben Kinney to make the move. And she was joining the office that day that Ben was bringing me to work at. And she was the first person I met outside of the 3 or 4 people Ben had specifically arranged for me to be. And there was just something about her. And as I was talking with her, she was like checking half the things off my list just right there. And then when I moved there officially, like 4 weeks later, I was driving around and I went to an open house and she was the agent working the open house. And I was like, hey, you're the one that did. And she was like, did you stalk me? Right. It was just, she was just hitting everything. And she hit about 95% of the things on my list. And the ones she did not match were low on my list. So she reflected what I needed in a partner. To bring that back to what your original question was, I needed somebody who had loyalty like I did and reinforced it. I needed someone who was brutally honest and wasn't going to care if it hurt your feelings to tell you the truth about things. I needed someone who XYZ, and Nita hit all of those things to give me that perfect person on one side of me. And then I had Ben Kinney. For any of your listeners who happen to know who Ben Kinney is, if you don't, go find out,
Yeah,
right? I had
go listen. Go listen to Win May Give. Go see Ben. Get it, he's incredible.
I had him on the other side of me. So I had one that was pulling me up, and I had one that was behind me, basically pushing me forward. And it gave me that support that I needed from her to be able to say, yeah, you need to go on the road for a week, go do what you need to do to make that happen, to make these things happen. She had my back from day one, Matt. So it comes back always, always. My dad taught me this. My TED talk covers this when I did that, right? It's the 5 people you surround yourself with. Who are they? There's a lot more to it than just 5 people, right? Because there's different people in different areas of your life. There are different people who matter for, yet it always comes back to that. And having somebody like Ben Kinney on one side of me and then Nita being that actual partner in my life, that's what launch the rocket ship that needed to go.
So love that. I don't know if I knew that part of the story. Like you literally, it was homework,
I
and
weird
you
scienced her,
and
right?
you
Like
had
I
to
made her on the computer.
literally manifest the
Yes.
ideal relationship, and it showed up. Now, interestingly enough, like conversely, what boxes did you check for her that she was missing?
Without getting too deep into her story, because that's her
I know,
story to
yeah,
share or
no,
not
I
share,
yeah, thanks. I respect that.
right? Family. She needed that family unit that she had around her because she didn't have that. She needed that person who had the outspoken courage publicly. Like, I have no problem to get up on a stage, of course. Actually, it's one of my favorite places to be. Or to argue with somebody who's done wrong by us or left us. And it has allowed her to be able to grow stronger and develop more into her true self, knowing that she has my confidence and had my example to grow into.
Awesome. I don't know that very many people that are more intentional than you, right? And so
Thank you.
staying in this topic here right now, like you've been through a bad relationship and now you have a marriage that other people really look up to and it's thriving. What is the single biggest thing you do differently or how do you show up differently in your marriage now versus before? And what's the biggest difference between marriages that survive and like they just survive or thrive?
I don't know that I can come up with one. That's a tough one,
All
Matt.
right, give me 3.
Well, the first thing that came to mind was I have never lied to her. Not a single lie has ever come out of my lips other than when we threw a surprise birthday party for her, right? That's different. The lie, yet I have never lied to her about anything. So I don't have to remember my lies. So that is one thing about a relationship. You want one that thrives. There has to be complete 1000% honesty between the both of you. Two, the second thing that comes to me, Matt, is I finally learned about the 5 love languages. Right. I'm going to guess most people that are listening to this have heard that. They might not take them seriously, or they absolutely take them seriously. Yet I learned what Nita's love languages were. So I was loving her the way she needed to be loved. So she was therefore able to reciprocate love, learning the ways I needed to be loved so that our relationship grew. Now, here's the thing I will say to everybody about relationships that people don't think about. There was a term for a long time. I don't hear it as often anymore, and maybe it's because I'm older or whatever it is. Yet there was the term the 7-year itch, right? It was a very common thing that marriages hit what was called the 7-year itch, which is when people would start to look elsewhere, right? Maybe get involved with the wrong person in a marriage, and the marriages would start to fall apart, which is what happened in my first marriage. It fell apart at about that timeline. Here's what I've learned since then, Matt. Our cells in our body are always dying. It takes 7 years for every cell in your body to be brand new. So there are cells that are dying today. There are new cells being born in me today. 7 years from today, none of these cells will still be here. They will all be new. What that means is we are a completely different person in 7 years. So in my first marriage, we grew apart over those 7 years as we transformed, as we changed, we became different. Nita and I have purposefully focused on finding joint hobbies. It's okay that she still has hers and I still have mine, yet we have found joint hobbies. We have found joint things we want to do because every 7 years, we're getting stronger and stronger because our cells are becoming more and more alike because they're being taught, oh, I now like to do cycling. Okay, so are hers. So now all of a sudden our cells have more in common, which has strengthened our marriage over the years.
Uh,
There's your tip for everybody.
so good. We talk about the love languages quite a bit around here, and because I was making the biggest mistake with that, thinking that, well, if I love her the way I want to receive love, like, but it's not landing, like, it's not my fault. It is, but
Right.
it's like if it, like it's like I'm speaking literally a different language.
Yes.
So I'm trying to say I love you, but I'm like blah 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 blah. Like that's That's what that's what it sounds like if it's not their language, and once I realized that, like, all I needed to do was if I can key in on what's most important for Christy. I talk about this a lot, and I remember my biggest aha, I realized that there's, like we've got duties around the house that just things just need to get done, and Christy's like, "Look, I shouldn't have to tell you, like, just do the things." And I'm like, "Well, just tell me, like, I know there's 1,000 things that need to be done. What's priority? And I'll do it." And she's like, "It'd be really cool if," and so I just know that if I can just unload the dishwasher and load it up and she doesn't have to ask me, it is like a 10 out of 10 for her. And I know that because no matter how many times I do it, every single time I do it, she goes, "Did you
Right.
unload?"
And then you get the words of affirmation you want because she said she knows to say to you, "Oh, you emptied the dishwasher," right? And you fill yourself with
It's
love
almost
because
it's almost immediate that my love language comes next. What right? So it's I was like, "Okay, I think I get it." Right? And then like realizing, okay, with my kids, like I'm trying to show them love. And guess what? Just providing isn't love. My daughters have very different love languages and needs. Quality time, right? For my one daughter, like I would go on an errand and she's like, "Can I come with you?" And I'm like, "Ah, it's not gonna, I'm just gonna be fast in and out." And yet that's her just saying, like, "Hey, dad, I love you. Can I just ride with
be
you?
near you. Right.
Can I just
Exactly.
be like, we don't even have to talk, right?" And like it gets me like emotional because like we're always running. We're always building and growing. Some like entrepreneurs, we're wired in such a stupid ass way sometimes that like we unknowingly just burn the people around us. If you just take a
Then they
second,
then they have regrets. They have the entrepreneur's regret, Matt, right? I mean,
brother.
right there, that's what drove you to write the book, which is right here within arm's length of me at any moment, folks. It's
I
right here on my desk.
dude, I appreciate it. I wish I never had to write it. I really wish I never had
Yeah,
to
that
write it.
makes that right. Makes a lot
Right?
of sense. I wish I didn't have to. I'm glad I was able to because it'll help someone else.
So like I want to dive into that this side of it, right? Like on the business side. And you talk about like your genius statement is about enabling others to face their business and mindset challenges to break through new levels.
Yes,
What's the most common block that you see with other high achievers that's quietly sabotaging their business and their life at home?
their calendar.
Go deeper.
Sure. I mean, right. We could. Right. So I didn't read Matt's questions in advance, folks. So these answers, right? Okay. Yeah, it's their calendar. They don't know how to control their day. Ever. They build their calendar incorrectly. They put the wrong things on it in the wrong orders, right? When I teach calendaring to people, and again, it's in my book, Achieve Your Apex, I talk about it on the podcast. We've covered it on Win, Make, Give because I teach Bob and then our whole audience this concept again and again. There's an acronym I teach called SPACE. And the S stands for start your day. And that's the first thing that should go on your calendar. What does your day look like for your morning routine? When do you get up? It should be consistent. What does the day look like when you start? Do you have a devotional? Do you jump in the gym? Do you blank, blank, blank? Read the newspaper? Whatever it is, there should be no digital use unless you're using an app for something like I'm going running, I'm putting on my music or something like that. There should be no access to Facebook, email, all those things first thing in your morning routine for the first hour. You should be filtering into your brain the things you want in there and positive in there, not potentially other people's problems that messes up your whole day. So we start building the morning of our day, our start of the day. The second thing that should go on a calendar, Matt, are priorities. And these are what are promises. And these are appointments with other people. You were I made a promise to be here at this time and record with you. So when someone said, "Can we?" I was like, "No, I have a promise on my schedule." And these go on our calendar first, right? Start of the day goes first. Yet when we're getting into planning our day, the promises we've made that way, whether it's a doctor's appointment, whether it's a hair appointment, I don't have those, whether it's your kids' play, whether it's the date night with your spouse, whether it's a meeting with a potential client, whatever it is, these things fill our calendar. And then the A stands for advancements, which are things that move us forward in our business, right? Whether that's sales calls, whether that's financial reporting, whatever it's going to be. Now we can see where we have availability on our calendar to make it happen. Too many people just say, "Oh, I was taught to do my sales calls from 9 to 11 every morning." And then they make a doctor's appointment at 9:30. So the sales calls never happen because they just put the promise over it and then they ignore what's actually there. Then the biggest thing, and most people laugh when I tell them this, the C in space stands for chaos. And yes, you should schedule chaos. It's going to happen every day. So put it on your calendar. Chaos goes from two extremes, Matt. My phone has rang or text messages have come through since we've been recording. Nothing says I need to answer those things immediately, folks. And people, specifically entrepreneurs, think they need to answer that immediately. You don't. I'm in an appointment right now. The people don't know what I'm doing, whether it's an appointment with you, an appointment with myself, whether it's an appointment to be in the men's room, right? Whether it's I'm sleeping, whatever it is, I will get back to them in my chaos time. I will go and I will realize 3 of them solved themselves. 2 of them were actually spam and they shouldn't have distracted me. So good. They weren't allowed in my situation anyway. And then I'll deal with them. And then chaos goes all the way to the other extreme. Your car broke down. There was the train that showed up that delayed you for 20 minutes, stuck in the car while you were in the traffic. Whatever. Okay. Now, by having chaos on my calendar somewhere, I can do the old, we've heard, if you erase, you must replace. Most people erase, they never replace. But now we have a place to put them because we have this chaos. Then the E stands for end of the day. People need to have a double end of the day routine. You heard that, double. You need to have an end of the work day and an end of your day. So there should be at least minimum 1 hour between when you stop taking calls, answering emails, checking text messages before you go to bed that allows you that time to be present where you need to be. High achievers, Matt, they just wake up and the first thing they do is grab their phone, start answering text messages, start answering emails, and then they are putting out fires all day long. I just recorded an Achieve Your Apex podcast episode about this. They don't do the priority things. They do what is someone else's emergency thing, and they do it until they go to sleep at night, and they don't build the calendar correctly.
What's interesting is you said that high achievers do that, and I feel like that needs to be flipped on its head because high achievers follow your framework. Dopamine addicts or junkies go after the social media because they need that morning dopamine hit. And then they love being valid by handling other people's emergencies instead of taking on their own priorities. Right?
High achievers do it too. Okay. Sadly, they do. And that's what stops them from being elite achievers.
Fair.
Because there are low achievers. There are people listening to this podcast. I don't know who you are, and I'm sorry if I'm calling you out on. There are low achievers, the dopamine junkies, right? They're in a business, whatever. They just figure if I'm always running, I'm busy and I'll be successful. Okay, you're never going to get anywhere, folks. Never. Like until you get someone that's coaching you and putting you on a line and saying, do you know the blinders that are on the horses when they run the race? Until someone's doing that for you, you'll never do it for yourself. Your dopamine hits will wear off or run out your bank account. Then there are high achievers. These are people who have success, Matt, yet they have success for the wrong reasons. They either have a large audience or sphere because of whatever reason, or they have had success running around like the chicken with their head cut off, and they keep that going. Elite achievers are the people who go away for 2 weeks. Elite achievers are the people who have dinner with their family every night and aren't worried about it. They have realized if I do this, I get to do that.
I love that clarity around, and that's the hidden achievement is the elite, and the elites actually slow down to speed up. They take that time. They take that time to get real purposeful. That's super solid. I love that. There's some gold already dropping here, and we're only 28 minutes in. This is gonna be one of those that you watch back and check out the chapters and you study chapter by chapter. I want to jump into your health journey because you're an absolute psychopath right now when it comes to it. And
Thank you.
so, you said you fought a weight battle for years and came out the other side as a certified Spartan coach. And if anybody doesn't know what Spartan is, it's just
Obstacle course racing. It's American Ninja Warrior on the ground. It's the steeplechase the horses used to do, jumping over things, running through the fields.
So what was the mental shift, not the diet or the training program, that finally made the difference for you in your mental health? What caused you to go, I'd like to go run in the woods for a bit and then become a certified coach for it?
That came later in the journey. It was Nita again, right? We had Orange Theory Fitness was opening near where we lived. And Nita went and found out they were doing like first month free, come in, give it a shot or whatever. And I said, I'll go with you, right? That's the whole, we're creating similarities and habits together and hobbies together. I said, I'll go with you. And one, there was a coach there that just clicked with me perfect. Like he would jump on the back of the treadmill and speed it up over my shoulder. I won't mention his name because Orange Theory probably would have fired him on the spot, sued him, something. But he knew how to push me to get more out of me. And I saw that. Health journey is one of the only journeys we can truly take that we can see the results. Right? Yes, I can see my bank account get bigger, but my bank account then immediately can come back down as soon as I buy something. Yet I can see myself go from fat person to skinny person. So I did the yo-yo, right? I was 245, I was 200, I was 220, I was 180. I did that for many years. It wasn't until Nita really took me on and said, let's get healthy together, that I jumped into it. And then she said, isn't this how you want to be for your daughter when she gets older? Isn't this how you want to be when we get older so we can still go travel, do things? Or do you want to be more like other people that I knew, whose names I won't shout out on the podcast, who were out of shape, unable to do certain things, had to pass up on opportunities? And then, of course, me being me, once I got my claws into it, Matt, I became extreme. So once it kicked on, then that's when I got competitive at Orange Theory. That's when some of the guys at Orange Theory said, come on, you need to take this challenge. And then I became a Spartan junkie, had a goal to podium at a Spartan race, earned that goal, right? Had a goal to become a coach in Spartan's world. I haven't run one lately because my goals have changed. Yet it was something that at that time, there was an apex to be achieved.
So it sounds like, again, the right who's in your life
Always
triggered that next version of you by pushing you.
Always.
And sounds like Nita understood exactly the phrase that pays to get you going.
Sometimes she does. Sometimes I'm like, wait a minute, I know what you're up to.
Wait, I see the
Right?
ninja move you're trying to do here.
That's right.
Like
It's how many times
this is not the motivation.
these are
you're
not the
looking for.
droids you're looking for, right? And she does it to me too, the other way, where she'll say, stop coaching me, right? When I'm like, oh, what would that look like? Right? And she's like, no,
If you
you're not
did
coaching me.
know, what would it be?
I hate that question. I absolutely hate that question. Folks, if you ever coach with me for any reason, you will never hear that question. That is the most annoying question a coach can ever ask. Matt, yes, it always comes back to it. If I summed up the transformation of my life, if I summed up my high school experience, my failed college experience, my life experience ever since, it's who, right? I talk about it again in Achieve Your Apex. I coach around this again. There is an order to questions. And who is the strongest question you can ever ask, because it's going to be the leverage and it's going to be who you want to become, that come from who can do this for me or who do I need to talk to. And folks, when you figure out who, you can go on the right journey. The challenge is sometimes we look too far ahead, Matt. Sometimes we say, oh, well, I want to be wealthy, so I'm going to be like Elon Musk. There is such a gap between me and Elon Musk, right? I'm kindergarten. He's PhD. Folks, I need to find somebody in grade 1, then somebody in grade 2, then some, and then maybe one day I say, you know what? I like this high school. This is the result level I really want. He can have his PhD. If I want to chase him in that area, right, I have to work my way up it. And too many, Matt, say, oh, I want to be like Matt. And realize they still need to be like that person who's 3 steps below Matt before they can even come close to achieving what you've worked.
Yeah, they're looking at the result and not the process. And when you share with everybody, like, well, this is what it takes, and this is how long it took, they go, well, I don't want to do that.
Right. Where's the easy button?
I don't want to do that. Like, this is 17 years in the making, right? And I'm still in grade 1, right? I want to get into a little bit of a provocative statement that you've made, right? You talk about maximization and not so much balance. A lot of people would say that that's a pretty big stance. So why is chasing balance actually dangerous for high achievers?
Balance doesn't exist. And the easiest answer to this, folks, because they got it right, was go read The One Thing by Jay Papasan and Gary Keller, right?
Mhm.
Don't listen to me just say that and say, oh, I won't read it because the name Keller is in there, right? Jay and Gary got it right when they talked about balance being a lie. Counterbalance is the only thing that exists, Matt. Nothing is ever balanced. People keep attempting to find balance, and all they're doing is cutting off their nose to spite their face and saying, okay, I'm not going to succeed. Go be a freaking success. Climb that mountain of business so that you can come back down it and climb that mountain and be the best husband, be the best parent, be the best friend, while you're also the best health, while you're also the best. And it's best for you. It's not best for me and what the universe says. It's best for you. And when you attempt to say, oh, well, I need balance, then okay, you never get to the top of any mountain because you're too scared to not be ready to go up the other mountain in that situation.
And I love how you say that, and I think it's probably one of the biggest misconceptions whenever someone hears the top, like when we talk about a life of no regrets and being present in all 3 areas of your life. The only way to earn presence is by actually maximizing your opportunity in each area so you can leave it and know that you don't have to attend to it until it's time to again. Going back
Correct.
to your calendar, if you execute on your calendar at an 85% rate or better, you're going to hit your goals and know
You're going to
that
go
like when
buy them.
you're going to go buy, yeah, right. If you've built in the calendar correctly, your calendar is going to guarantee that you're going to hit those goals. So when you're home, you can be home and not have to answer. And then you can also then, because when you're home and you're present at home, self-care isn't selfish. You can earn that right to go and recharge, reboot,
You
work on
know,
yourself, challenge
I
yourself, all those things.
I heard, Matt, and I'm sorry I can't pull your name up right now. I'd have to go looking. I did an interview very recently for the Win Make Give podcast, and she said to me, now I got to find her name so I give credit to her. And of course, I can't. I'm signed out of that window over there. She said to me, self care is not a bubble bath, it's boundaries.
Ooh,
Right. And
love
so
it.
many of us think self care. Oh, I'll go get the massage. I'll go have this big fatty meal. Oh, I'll take a bubble bath and close the door so I'm quiet. That's not self care. Self care are boundaries. And I will tell you, my phone is set at 7 o'clock. Nobody gets me. That's not my wife, my daughter, my mother, and my ex wife in case something happened to my daughter. They're the only people that my phone will ring for. That doesn't mean at 7:30 when I want, I can look at it and say, not important, not important. I'm going to respond, whatever. Oh my gosh, it's an emergency. It, I have a boundary that says from 7 o'clock till 9 in the morning, my phone does not beep if it's not one of those 4 people messaging me because I put up a boundary that says I'm going to be present where I am at those times. I'm going to be focused on starting my day right, not being interrupted. Okay. Folks, understand self-care. That one hit me right between the eyes when she said it to me because I'd never heard anyone put it like that.
That's
Self-care
awesome.
is not a bubble bath. It's boundaries.
Message me later. We'll make sure to put them into the notes, into the description so they get
Yes.
credit when
I'm
we do.
attempting to unlock the window so I can give her credit here while
Do that so we don't have any technical difficulties. We're going to lose your screen here in a second.
you're not going to lose me. I promise.
That's so cool. I love how that said because it's absolutely true. So as I'm like mentally going back on that, I'm like, yep, checks, valid. Like I love that. I agree with it, and I'm
Ann
gonna
Grady, thank you for sharing that one with me. There you go. Ann
say it one more
Grady
time.
shared that. Ann Grady.
And Grady, you're a
Yeah.
savage. You're a rock
She
star. Thanks for sharing that.
she shared that with me, and that was one I wrote down when I got off that episode with her.
All right, Chad,
Yes.
you have a
Bring
children's
it on.
book.
I do. I do
You have
right
a
here.
you have a best-selling adult book.
I do right
You've
here.
got 2 podcasts.
I do.
You've got a coaching practice.
I do.
When you strip all of that away, what's the legacy you're actually building and who's it for?
Oh, that's a good one, Matt. My answer's probably changed over the years. So my first legacy that I'm building is for my daughter, right? That I'm an example to her of how to care about others while living the life you still want to live. And I want her to be able to do that. The legacy I probably leave, Matt, is one that I've had the pleasure to speak to, talk to, that have read the book, listen to the podcast, coach with me, whatever it is, that I'm a better person today because of what Chad taught me. And I would love to have a worldwide impact. Yet I'm also realizing I don't want to put in that work, right? It's okay. I don't want to put in that work at that level. Yet I want to have the people that I do work with left with the legacy of remembering Chad as he's the one who we do this as a family because I can do this now because of that's what I want to leave behind. I hear from people all the time that I don't know, right? Or I've met, but I sadly don't remember, or they've come across and they were like, oh my God, 12 years ago, you said, right? And it changed everything for me. That's the legacy I want to.
Right on. So if somebody is experiencing any of these challenges and they want to connect, get to know, learn more, what are some of the best ways that somebody can get with you?
Okay, if they want to just follow me, stalk me, see what's going on, I'm Chad Hyams everywhere, right? I didn't have to compete for my name with anybody. So on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, I'm Chad Hyams. It's spelled Hyams. I don't eat them. I don't like them. It's the spelling of my name, Chad Hyams. All right. If they want to actually get in touch with me, Matt, there's two ways they can do it. One, they can email me, chadhymes@gmail.com. There you go. I put it out for the world. The other way, just text the word Chad to 59559. I'll get in touch with you. You text Chad to 59559. I will get in touch with you and follow up immediately after that. Did you catch me or I saw I locked up?
No, I got you. No, I
Okay, good.
came through. I
Okay.
trust it came through, and if not, we'll make sure we'll make sure to add it
No worries. Look,
in the
folks,
post edit.
there are so many ways, right? You can listen to the if you don't want to actually, you're like, this guy, I want to hear what he's got to say, but I don't want to talk to him. Fine. Go listen to the Win, Make, Give podcast. Go listen to the Achieve Your Apex podcast. You want to stalk me quietly? Great. Like I said, Chad Hyams on all the social platforms. You want to get in touch with me? You can email me, say, I heard you on Matt's podcast, help or whatever. You want to text me, easiest, Chad 59559, right? I offer, Matt, the book's available at achieveyourapex.com, or you can go right to Amazon and just find it there. It's an Audible if you want it that way. You want a hard copy, it's there for you. I do one-on-one coaching. I do group coachings. They only launch on the quarters. I always have some fun projects that I've got going on for coaching clients. If they want to learn more, they just come get me. I'll give them this one thing too, though. Every Wednesday, I send out a Wisdom Wednesday text. So I just send out something that's going to give you a little burst of wisdom, hopefully a little humor, maybe. It's going to push you. It's just going to challenge. No obligation, no commitment, no nothing for it. If you want it, just text the word wisdom to 59559 and you'll just get put onto the list and you'll start getting that the following Wednesday moving forward. You can't do both texts at once, though. You can't put wisdom and Chad to 595. That doesn't work, right? You got to text one word and then text the other word if you want me and you want on that list. Those are the easiest ways to get a hold.
Dude, I can't thank you enough for bringing so much value to the conversation here today, man. I
Any
really
conversation with you is filled with value, Matt, whether it's me saying it or you saying it. There is always value. So when you wanted me to come join, it was my pleasure to be here and share. You need somebody one week and you're like, we could talk about something else, right? Yeah. Call me. I will be here for you, folks. If you haven't read The Entrepreneur's Regret, right? I know the guy who wrote the foreword, so trust me, the book was worth reading. Go get yourself a copy of Matt's book if you haven't read it yet.
There's that plug. Awesome. Well, listen, guys, thank you so much for tuning in again. If you're tired of winning on paper and losing everywhere else, you're in the right conversation. We are your people. If you want to get deeper and more intentional in finding a way out and living a life of no regrets, you can just go to noregretsblueprint.com. That's where everything lives. Till next time, it's Matt with one T. We'll see you guys on the next episode.